Wichita State basketball. The good thing about this young man is he's a humble young man. He's not stat padding. He doesn't look for no selfish gains. He's all about the team. As a matter of fact, he's trading one shade of black and yellow for another shade of black and yellow. And he likes the shade of black and yellow that he plays in now, that he decided in the era of transfer portal to come back for a second year. My guest today on the A-Train Sports Talk podcast is none other than 6'6", 225 pounds, by way of Parker, Colorado, none other than Ronnie DeGray. Ronnie? Welcome aboard the show. How are you doing this morning or this afternoon?
Doing good.
So, tell me about your journey. What led you to Wichita State? Because I know you didn't get here immediately. You had to take some turns, some here and there's. But let's go back to your high school days, let's go back to your beginning days of playing basketball. At what age did you decide that basketball was going to be the sport that you love?
That was a good question. My dad played professional basketball overseas. So I lived with him in Finland, Hungary, and Spain when I was 4. So I was always around the sport of basketball and always enjoyed it. Played it growing up, but I'd say high school, after my sophomore year is when I really, took the time to just focus just on basketball. I used to play, football, and I was probably my first love was football. But I didn't really see myself playing college football. And, after my sophomore year, me and my dad, talked about, the future and, what that holds and, what I want out of my future, and kind of just, came to the conclusion that, if this is what you want to do, you got to put your, most of your focus into just basketball. And so, I went that route, and, I'd say it's paid off.
Absolutely. And like I say, we're glad to have you here in our black and gold. Funny little story here. So ran into Ryan DeGray at the I-35 girls basketball showcase. Not only did I run into him, I also ran into a current Missouri player right now, and I tried to pitch him. I'm like, how ironic that I run into two guys that wear the colors of black and gold, but one of them's wearing the wrong black and gold. That's just a little side note. So I just want to throw that out there. But like I said, we are glad to have you here. Looking at your stats from last year, 5.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 0.6 assists, 45% field goal shooting. Playing in the Paul Mills system, because I know you watched basketball, especially growing up watching your dad play, and there was an era where you pretty much knew who the starting five was going to be. You pretty much knew the starting five was going to play X amount of minutes. In today's game, it's not uncommon to see a rotation of, sometimes some teams run with 7 players, some teams run with a deep bench. How do you see this year's team shaping up rotation-wise? Because I have shared with some people on social media, I can see this team being deep enough to where they can do 5 in, and when at the first media timeout, they can sub in another 5. You see this team being that deep?
I'd say, this year's a really deep team. Uh, I could say you could almost say 10 to 11 deep this year. But that's still the coach's decision, and
right.
we still got time to get there. And like I said, Coach Mills is gonna decide what's best for the team. But just from summer workouts and practices right now, you know, uh, the guys that who may have started last year, they're gonna have to fight for minutes. There's guys who came in who can compete as well and who've competed at a high level. So, practice has been really intense, and especially now, Coach Mills is trying to get back to his, Oral Roberts days of, really pushing the pace and having a top four offense and in the pace nation. So, it's going to be really interesting to see what we do this year. But I definitely think it's going to be a really deep team this year.
Right, and I feel my feeling is the deeper the team, the more of a headache it creates for the opposing team because there are some teams they're only going to play about seven deep anyway, and
Yep.
uh, basically you have the opportunity to wear a team out. The more bodies you have, the more you can wear another team out. With that being said, because I'm hearing a lot of the even newcomers, they are buzzing about the big man in the middle who had a breakout season last year. How much of a
Uh,
benefit does it pay to play with someone like Quincy Carter?
uh, um, Playing with Quincy is great. Having an elite shot blocker. A guy that is a lob threat, and just he's really improved over these last 2 years he's been here. But it's great playing in Quincy. He's starting to become really comfortable. He's been working on his game. I see him in the gym every day, just expanding his game. But playing with Quincy is great because sometimes in basketball your man might beat you, but Quincy's always there to help save the day. So we're lucky to have him.
Absolutely. Now at 6'6", 225 pounds, and we're gonna be kind of all over the place here. Now you mentioned growing up, you play a little bit of football too, so I'm just going to assume that you probably played the position of like tight end. Am I correct in my assumption?
Tight end, defensive end, yes sir.
All right, I kind of envision you being like in the mode of a tight end, defensive end, edge rusher. Uh, at 6'6", 225, how would you describe your game? Is it a finesse game? Is it a power game? Or would you even see yourself as maybe an enforcer?
Um, I would say, ooh, I'd say for me it's a lot of versatility. I feel like I can do the finesse game. I can be an enforcer. Just being able to guard multiple positions and just do multiple things on the court that coach asked me. I feel like that's hard to just say one thing. 'Cause I feel like I can do more than things, and just you know, taking care of my body and, even just being in the weight room, be able to do things like that. So I wouldn't, uh, I wouldn't say it's just one thing. It's multiple
Okay,
things.
multiple. All right, multiple facets to your game. All right, appreciate that answer right there. So you spent some time at Missouri. You played in the SEC. What was the transition like coming from a school like a Missouri, playing in the Power Five conference, to playing at Wichita State? And I would say a conference that's outside the Power Conference. I'm not going to say it's a mid-major conference because we've learned years ago don't ever call us a mid-major. We may have some downtime, but don't call us a mid-major. What's the
Yeah.
difference in the programs and what's the difference in the conference, especially from a competition standpoint?
Um, I would say SEC. There's, well, this is how I'll explain. I think like in the American Conference, there's a lot more guys that can spread the floor, shoot, and just plays the game really well. And there's some athletic dudes. I feel like as you see, there's just maybe it's not a bunch of outside shooting, more getting to the cup, but I feel like there's a more just really athletic guys, who just know how to get up and down. I don't think there's a huge drop off. Like this is a really good conference, and there's really good teams that compete. So there's not a big drop off. I don't think like we could compete in the SEC right now, but I think there's just SEC. There's probably you say maybe in this conference there's 8 guys that 7, 8 guys that you can rotate between. I feel like in SEC, whoever starts, the backups could be the starters. So I think it's just the depth that's a little bit different.
Okay. Uh, this will be one of my last few questions because we're living in the era of the NIL and the transfer portal, and it could have been easy. And I know I don't mean this to put you on the spot, but it could have been easily for you to say, okay, this is the type of season we had this past year. I want to look to play for another program. What was it that persuaded you to come back to Wichita State? Because we have had people transfer in and transfer right back out the following year, and I'm like, okay, why we can't keep these players? So, what is it that has kept you? And I'm not saying that you can speak for the others, but when you look at the nucleus of players that we had come back, that says a lot to, I guess you could say, first Paul Mills and the staff. But what was it that made you come back for a second year?
The staff, Coach Mills, Coach AC, Coach KP, Coach TJ, even, to the GAs and the managers. It's just the culture that's built here, and really just like being around people who they care about you, but they see you more than just a basketball person. They don't. I mean, obviously you're recruited for basketball, but they see more than what you can do for them, but how they can help you. And I feel like nowadays, that's hard to find, especially in the college basketball business. But I feel like these are just really genuine dudes who want to see us succeed, and especially with Coach Mills. Being a coach who's coached guys to get to the NBA, and they might have not been the five stars, the 4 stars, but he's seen the blueprint of people that work have a chance, and he's produced a lot of pros who weren't the big names, but he helped them get to where they want to be. So I think just being a part of that, and having a coaching staff that just believes in you goes a long way nowadays. And at least for me, that's how it is.
All right. So with the returning core players, and like I said, that says a lot in the days transfer portal. The fact that I believe 7 players returned, then you throw in the mix of new players, and
Yes, sir.
the town is buzzing about new players, especially Wichita's uh, own T.J. Williams, along with Zion Pipkin as well too. How far do you see this year's team going? Because I'm telling you, I might not sound like it, but I'm kind of hiding my excitement. I'm looking at this team making a run at the NCAA tournament. So I want you to go on record. No bulletin board print, but in your honest opinion, how good do you see this team being this year?
Honestly, I feel like the only people who can stop us is us. Like you say, could be a cliche answer, but I feel like this team's really talented. Obviously, we're still in the process of gelling together and stuff like that, but we have a bunch of veterans who've played in the NCAA tournament, and that's our main goal is NCAA tournament, and bring another championship to Wichita with conference championship and regular season champions. That's the big goal that we have on our board in the locker room. So we have high expectations for ourselves this year, and I I don't think we're going to disappoint this year.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the A Train Sports Talk podcast. It was a blast. Once again, I do apologize for the lateness, but sometimes they say late better than never. And I want to
Yes,
say
sir.
that once this podcast is out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of my best. I'm pretty sure the town of Wichita will want to hear it. And once again, good luck, Shockers, this year. Best of luck to you, Mr. Ryan DeGray. I can't thank you enough for being on the show. So, applause to you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, as I'm going to call it like this. They call it week 0. Enjoy the week 1 of some college football. And once again, we want to thank you for being on the train ride.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Once again, my guest on the A Train Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Ronnie DeGray, Wichita State senior forward. And this train is just now building up ahead of steam. We got so much more to get to. As you just heard me say, I'm always the one who goes against the grain. This is week one of college football. That's right, I said it. Week one of college football. And the reason it's week one to me, and everybody be some more brief, week zero just sounds, how can I say it? I'm not politically correct. Saying week zero sounds stupid. Because think about it. The team that loses, it goes on their record. The team that wins, it goes on their record. It's not like this is the preseason. This is the real season when it comes to college football. What other reason would you send Georgia Tech and Florida State to Ireland if this wasn't an official start to college football? Anyway, that's my rant on that topic. There is so much more to get to. High school football is right around the corner. So tell you what I'm going to do right here. I am going to take a break. And when I come back, we are going to look into some high school football and how things may shape up for some teams. I don't have a roster breakdown, but I do have some news from my trusted partners at Catch It, Kansas. So don't you go nowhere. It's the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, building up ahead of steam. We'll be right back. Welcome back into another segment of the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, the number one podcast in the state of Kansas. What makes it number one? You do. Who is you? You are the listeners. You are my guests. And I can't say thank you enough to Wichita State senior forward Ronnie DeGray. Yes, that young man was awesome on the train ride. Appreciate him. We're supposed to do that at the 12 o'clock hour, but you know, when you work third shift, especially on a rare Friday night, which is our Saturday, and man, I woke up and the clock said 12:30, and I'm like, my goodness. I'm like, let me send him a text and see how he's feeling. Because he could have easily said, you know what, let's push it back to next week. But he came on, and, you know, if it seems like you're hearing this a lot, he deserves that. And once again, I look forward to that Wichita State Shocker team this year. Just looking at the players that are coming back and how a lot of even the newcomers are raving about what they have already on the team and how they want to contribute. I just see this team just being something special. I'm guaranteeing if Joe Namath can guarantee a Super Bowl win, I'm guaranteeing Charles Koch Arena, or if you want to call it CKA for short, will be sold out this year. Mark my words. Not just once, but it's going to be multiple sellouts because it's going to be a hot ticket. And y'all are going to get out and support this team because y'all want to see this team go as far as they can. I believe, seriously, I really believe that this is going to be a special season in year two under the Paul Mills regime. Moving right along, and I know I said I was going to talk some high school football, but there's some other things that took place. As y'all know, the WNBA is back in full swing. That's no secret. But one player seems to be just really making a name for herself, and it's not always good. Oh no, it's not Caitlin Clark or it's not Angel Reese. I know the narrative is you're used to hearing about one or the other. But right now, WNBA fans demand Chennedy Carter's suspension after hits to now Caitlin Clark, which that was early, we've seen that, and now Marina Mabrey. She's always seeming to want to just lay somebody out. I think she wants the role of the enforcer, but I think she's going about doing it wrong. So let's see what happened. So the Chicago Sky star Chennedy Carter may be flirting with a WNBA suspension following her hostile act against Connecticut Sun guard Marina Mabrey on Friday. The Sky suffered a brutal 82-80 loss to the Sun in a game where Carter picked up a flagrant foul in the first quarter. Carter was being posted up by Mabrey, and the Connecticut veteran spun into the Sky guard to find an open shot. Once she had a window to put up a shot, Carter smacked Mabrey in the face. And when I say she smacked Mabrey in the face, she smacked Mabrey in the face. The play was ultimately reviewed by the officiating crew and upgraded from a common foul to flagrant, which means Carter has now picked up her fourth flagrant foul of the season. And I'm going to see if we can actually play the audio from this. We're going to effort that right about now.
Is Chennedy Carter? That looks like it hurt.
So that was a little 5-second clip, and what you saw was Carter's arm go across the face of Mabrey. And we're going to
Is Chennedy Carter?
Ooh. I don't know if that was a play on the ball or a play on the. If you look at that video real close, it doesn't look like she was intentionally aiming for the face, but she was definitely making a hard foul. That I would definitely say was a hard foul. If she was aiming for the face, only she knows that. But I can see why it was upgraded to a flagrant. Anyway, WNBA fans are infuriated with Carter's act, given her history as a physical player in the league. Carter picked up a flagrant foul against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever on June 1st when the Fever knocked off the Sky 71-70 at home. The Sky guard hit Clark in the back, putting her shoulder into the rookie for a blind side stick. While it was originally called a common foul, the WNBA's replay committee upgraded the play to a flagrant foul following the conclusion of the game. And here we go again.
Clark. I mean, that's clear all which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
So there are two instances where Chennedy Carter was involved in some questionable calls. As a matter of fact, that was the one on Caitlin Clark back on June the 1st. And someone chimed in and said, should this have been a flagrant upgrade to a flagrant one? Carter is one of the Sky's most important players, leading the team in points per game. She's currently posting 16.8 points and 3.1 rebounds per game. In Chicago's narrow loss to the Sun on Friday, Carter recorded 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. She also picked up 6 personal fouls and 6 turnovers, according to ESPN. Despite her talent, WNBA fans believe they've seen enough from Carter. They think the 25-year-old should be suspended from the league, given her hard hit on Mabrey in history with Caitlin Clark. Seriously, Carter should be suspended by now. This is the second one this nature, said one fan.
Is Chennedy Carter. That looks like it hurt.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt. But was it really the intent to hit smack her in the face, or was it just trying to be a hard foul to prevent the bucket? That's what I have to ask. Should it have been upgraded? I think it might have been upgraded because of her history. But as far as this fan, and fans will say some things, to say that she should be suspended from the league, that's going a little bit far. Reprimand, maybe a 1-2 game suspension to let her think about what it was that she's done. I'll give you that. But to say that she should be suspended from the league, no. No. Get a clue. Think about, all right, and I'm about to go on another rant here. When you stop and think about the fact that what we do in our everyday lives on our jobs, sometimes we do some stupid things on our jobs that could actually cost us. But if you happen to get caught once, maybe twice, I guarantee you, you're going to plead your case to keep your job. So in this instance, why would you want to see somebody else not have a chance to make a livelihood because you've seen 2 isolated incidents? 2. You've seen the Caitlin Clark and you've seen the Marina Mabrey. And you want her to be suspended indefinitely. You want her to have to go overseas to suffer some hostility in foreign countries. What if on your job you did 2 egregious things? Because in y'all's viewpoint, those of you who are saying that she needs to be suspended indefinitely from the league, let me just put you on blast. If your job said, okay, we're kicking you out, we're terminating you because of what you did, even though that what you did, you may think it wasn't worthy of the termination. And they said, if you want to make a living doing this type of job, the only way you're going to do it, you have to go overseas. I want you to stop and think long and hard while you're saying what needs to be done with Chennedy Carter. Am I condoning what she did? No, not by any means. Do I believe there should be some discipline? Yes, by all means. But suspended, kicked out of the league? Please. You can translate that however you want it. Please. Anyway, the story goes on. Chennedy Carter purposely did that, and she timed it well. Man, when I read some of these comments, I wonder if some of these people took a class in English. Let's try to read this again. It says, Chennedy Carter purposely did that, and she timed it well. I think it should have been timed it well. Said another team. Get her out this league. She continues to be a terror to this team. Trust me, I'm not going to be following Lamont. At Coach_Evans25. No, I'm not following you. If you are a coach, I'm putting you on blast right now. If you are a coach, something tells me you had to pass some classes, but you can't speak proper English. His name is Lamont, at Coach_Evans25. I hope I'm not talking about somebody's kinfolk. I'm pretty sure if you follow this guy on X, I'm pretty sure you're going to make sure he gets the link to this. Matter of fact, I'm posting my link on X anyway. Dude, work on your English. Because if you can't speak English, how can you draw up a play for your team to run, regardless of what sport it is? Another fan on X chimed in You're going to suspend Chennedy Carter, commented another fan. You know, it's amazing the comments that come out when, like I say, how many of y'all remember the oil commercial where the guys were sitting up there laughing at cars that was trying to jump the ramp and the oil would fall down, and they said sludge. It's only funny when it happens to somebody else, and then around about that time, the oil can spills on these guys that's laughing at the guys on TV. Like I say, you want to see somebody suspended until it happens in your lifetime, until it happens to you personally. Like I say, think long and hard before you open your mouth about somebody else's well-being. Because if truth be told, in this life, you've done some things too that might have warranted some harsh discipline. But you pleaded your case. Let me ask you this question. Yeah, I'm gonna go here. What would y'all say? Because today is Chennedy Carter. What would y'all say if I know what y'all would say if Angel Reese committed these same acts. What would y'all say if Caitlin Clark committed these same two acts? Would y'all want to see her suspended? Come on. Let's be fair. Let's be real. I know that sparks a little controversy throwing it out there like that. But I see the comments on X and on all these social platforms, and unfortunately, and I'm going to get into my high school take after this break. But let's keep it real. I have nothing against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has brought a new set of eyes to the WNBA, often to the point to where I think even from a media standpoint, you're still overlooking those who have paved the way, those who are currently playing, those who deserve the attention, like Asia Wilson, Diana Taurasi on her farewell tour, I would assume. And then when you do speak of the WNBA, you speak of, well, yeah, the only person we know is Brittany Griner. That's because she was over there in Russia with some weed on her. That's the only way y'all talk about the WNBA outside of Caitlin Clark. Media personnel and fans in general. Why come it can't be the league itself? Why come it can't be the incoming of Bird Magic, female version, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese? Because let me set this narrative straight, because some of y'all are even going to the point to where y'all saying that Angel Reese is padding her stats with all these rebounds she's getting. I've seen her games. I've seen her shots. I've seen her contested shots in the paint. But I also seen how they can't stop her from getting boards. That's not stat padding. That's just someone being relentless on the board. I haven't seen rebounding like that since the days of Xavier McDaniel. You know who Xavier McDaniel is? He played at Wichita State, became the first player in NCAA history to lead the nation in both scoring and rebounding. Nobody said he padded his stats. Oh, maybe Dick Versace at Bradley. That's a long ways back, too. But no, that's how relentless he was on the board. You look at Dennis Rodman. He would rebound his own missed shots. But nobody said he was padding his stats. So why are you vilifying Angel Reese? Anyway, it is the A-Train Sports Talk podcast. I went there. So let me hone it back in. I am going to take a break. And when I come back, we are going to talk some high school football. We're going to take a look at some teams, their performances from last year and what they look forward to doing this year. Like I say, from the partners at Catch It, Kansas. Also have other resources. But it is the A-Train Sports Talk podcast, building up ahead of steam on a official, as I call it, first week of college football. It might not be the marquee games that you're looking for, but like I say, if it counts on your record, it's week one. You can argue me all you want, but that's how I'm going to believe. have a right to believe what I want to believe and how I want to believe. And as far as I'm concerned, this is week 1 of college football. Anyway, stay tuned. A-Train Sports Talk Podcast. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, city to city, state to state, coast to coast. It is your number 1 podcast in the state of Kansas because of the great content. Oh no, take that back. Because of the great guest, and couldn't have had a better guest on the day. One of patience, one of humility, one who is just down to earth, one who, let me also say this, very well articulate, may I say. And I believe, and I didn't get to ask him this, but I just believe that education is very important to him. One Mr. Ronnie DeGray. Man, can't hit that button enough. Can't hit that applause button enough for that young man. So I wish him nothing but the best, my brother. And anytime you want to come on the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, hey, just drop me a message and we'll get you on, man. We would definitely get you on. It won't be no problem. I would enjoy to have you on. Matter of fact, my next guy I'm going to target, I got this number. I've been having this number for at least 2 years now, and I still can't get him. And I see why, because looking at his game, the defenses couldn't stop him on the lob, and he was a darn good rim protector. So, yeah, I'm talking about Quincy Ballard. Yeah, Quincy, I'm going to get you on there, man. I know you're going to be listening. I'm going to get you on there. But, yeah, once again, we definitely want to thank Ronnie DeGray. Great, outstanding young man. I believe he's just as good in the classroom as he is on the court. So, Ronnie, once again, thank you. Can't say thank you enough. And the reason I say man of patience and humility, because like I say, we're supposed to start at noontime, but work got in the way and sleep got in the way, and when you 57 years old like I am, you looking around the corner at 60. But hey, I'm blessed. So that's why I say this is the number 1 podcast, not based on the content that I provide. My voice probably isn't even made for podcasting. I've heard people tell me otherwise. So on that note, I say thank you. Appreciate your comments, your kind words. As a matter of fact, I believe my podcasting is what led me to the job, and I'm also thankful to Bob Lutz. Some of y'all know him. I believe that from this, it has led me to a part-time on-air gig at KFH Sports Radio. So, when I'm on here, you better believe I'm going to be grateful and thankful to those of you who take the time out to listen to this podcast, be on my show. Last weekend, I had Coach Brent Pfeiffer of Maize South Mavericks on, and then I went out there to their carnival last week, and me and my grandson, we was accepted as if we were a part of them. So, Coach Pfeiffer, once again, I want to thank you two for last week and the fun time me and my oldest grandson had. And I'm going to be looking for one of them Maverick shirts. I'm going to be out collecting shirts. Speaking of shirts, I have found someone that is going to be able to make some shirts for me for my podcast. You will see my logo on black T-shirts sometime in the future. And what I'm going to do, and I want my guests to hold me to this, all of my guests moving forward, and I may double it back, go back to some other guests. Y'all will get free T-shirts with the A-Train logo on it. That way people will know, yeah, I was on the A-Train. I enjoyed the ride. So coming up in the future, y'all will be seeing my logo on black T-shirts and maybe some white T-shirts as well too. But I'm tentatively looking at black T-shirts It will be for my guests, and I will also have them to where they can be purchased as well. So, high school football is right around the corner, and I do have some reads on some teams here in the area and surrounding areas. We're going to take a journey to Andover Central. Take a look at the Jaguars, as Andover Central is heading into 2024 as the reigning sub-state champions and is planning to chase a state championship this year. The Jaguars have experience on the big stage, winning the championship in 2021, but fell short last year to St. Thomas Aquinas. That made the team hungry to get the job done this year. Sixth-year head coach Derek Tuttle said the team needs to focus on consistency, work on techniques, and perfect the details to keep making playoff runs. Well, we got to have fun. We got to have a lot of energy, Tuttle said. We have to have, like I said, consistency in what we're doing every day. Like I told the guys at the start of practice, I said, if you want to get to where you want to be, we have to earn it every day. There's always things we need to improve on. And we're going to talk about that internally with our guys. But we got some things going on in the right direction. But just like any talent team, this team of year, we have a checklist of things we got to get a lot better at. There are a lot of talented returners ready to make an impact for the Jaguars, including senior quarterback Jace Jefferson. He threw for over 2,000 yards last year, so I'm pretty sure he's on somebody's radar. And he's backed by a skilled offense. Brent Stupka and Jason Adler both finished with over 800 receiving yards, so he got some targets. But if that isn't enough, how about Maddox Archibald, rushed for over 1,200 yards? Can somebody say high-octane football? Man, you got two receivers over 800 yards, a running back over 1,200 yards. And it didn't even talk about if the quarterback uses his legs at all. And if that's the case, that's just an extra added dimension to his game. Defensively, there are a lot of strong players on the line, and both sides of the ball are ready to work towards a winning season. Our defense likes to work together, linebacker and tight end Logan Taggart said. We are all physical. We're already just for anything that comes our way. We've all been preparing this whole summer. We're not going to be as nervous since we've all played and made it to stay all the way to playoffs. We're very motivated in the summer. Everybody coming to the summer weights and conditioning and going to crunch week, Jefferson said. Last week, a lot of people showed up. So we're very motivated from the line to the receivers to defensive backs and to the linebackers. Just everybody has a lot of talent. So we look forward to keeping an eye on Andover Central. Like I said, this year I'll look forward to making some rounds to various high school football games. I'm not going to be just locked in on one team, but I'm going to be locked in on the football season itself. Definitely look for me, since I brought them up. You will definitely see me probably at Andover Central. I'm going to try to make the rival game. I want to make as many rival games as I possibly can. I want to see Andover Central versus Andover. I want to experience it. I want to experience the cat fight in Goddard. The Goddard Eisenhower against Goddard. The Lions versus the Tigers. I want to experience, because I experienced this on the basketball court last year. I want to experience Mays South versus Mays, Friday Night Lights. I want to experience that. I want to experience rivalry. I even want to experience here in the city, Wichita Northwest versus Wichita East, because that is, last year, I believe, set in stone a rival. So, yes, look up and you will see the A train pulling in. And you'll know it's me because, like I said, I mentioned something about those shirts. I'm going to have one of them on that way you can recognize. A train is in the house. Like I said, not for me, but for those who I will be out to support. So, Andover Central, Andover, y'all better get ready. Y'all going to see the train pulling in. What else do we have for you here? Because I know we have a lot to get to. I mentioned something about May South. I was out there and had the coach on, and he mentioned that their first game of the season is going to be against this team I'm about to talk about. So I even hope to reach out to their coach as well too. We're talking about none other than the Newton Railers. It says the Railers have had it rough for the last decade, not finishing with a record above 500 once during that span. In the past 2 seasons, Newton has finished with 3-6 records, but with new head coach Taylor Counts, things are looking up. Counts spent the past couple of seasons as the defensive coordinator at Andover High before taking over for Greg Slade at Newton. It's been a win the day, everyday thing, explained Counts. We got to go outwork everybody today, fellas. Let's go. Whether that be conditioning, weight room stuff, we're out here practicing. So we've been going fast. We got them up at 5 a.m. every day this week. And there, some parents were like, what are we gonna do? We're going to see who wants to play some football and get out there. So they've been showing up at 4:30 every morning. We get the lights on here. It's been nice and cool outside. We've been having a lot of fun flying around. The players are excited about the new coaching staff. They hope to be the group that will lay the groundwork for a successful football program for years to come. For our senior class, there's not many of us, but we're really drilling into younger guys, explained senior quarterback Nick Ramos. This is the earliest we've gotten up for practice, the most we've worked in the summer, the hours we've worked. We're really putting all of our effort into it as a team. I think that we're putting in a lot more effort, mentioned senior linebacker Eli Kirtley. We're paying a lot more attention to detail. We're making sure that we're doing things right. And if we don't do it right, we're going to redo them. We're not going to just be lazy with it. The players that were spoken with discussed the keys to success in their final year of wearing black and gold. Just working as a team, at the senior linebacker, Jesse Stanley. We need to be all 11 guys playing together as one. As a matter of fact, I think I just might even have some audio that I can share that will help us with this as well. So let me see if I can pull up this audio and we will get this to you. Pretty much the audio is going to pretty much be the article that was just given to you. So if I can't pull it up, then I'm not going to too much worry about it. You got the gist of what was said there. So looking forward to seeing this Newton team. And it's just, like I say, with me doing podcasting and sharing the information that I share with you, it just makes me want to get out even more and meet some of these players, meet some of these coaches. X, as y'all know it, what it used to be, to me, is still Twitter. This is where I've actually reached out to people and have made good contacts with people. And you talk about being receptive, like, get to mingle with not just the team, but the community of these teams and how well I've been accepted. So I definitely want to say thank you to those who have accepted me. Like I said, I had fun last week at the carnival on the campus of May South High School on the football field. It was just an event that if you were a parent or a grandparent, you definitely would have wanted to take your child to. It was just a lot of fun. And getting out into the public and, the fact that these people think I do so much for high school sports. No, y'all do more for me than I could ever do. And I definitely want to say thank you. Let's move right along here. As I am pretty much all over the board here, it looks like. There are some other teams that we want to look at in the surrounding suburban area. We just looked at Andover. We looked at the Newton Railers. In this particular feed here, I'm getting it pretty much off of KSN.com. So I want to also send a shout out to them because I'm using some of their content as well. I'm pretty sure Zach Martin is behind some of this writing as well too. Everybody knows him off of KSN.com. Of course, like I say, my other feed that I use, Catch It Kansas. Thank them for their content as well too. But I know some people are saying, man, you're all over it. Yes, that's what the train ride usually does. It takes you all over. And right now, the train ride is pulling into Valley Center, Kansas. So there are just a little more than 2 weeks before the start of the high school football season. And the Valley Center Hornets are entering the season as the newest members of the Ark Valley Chisholm Trail League Division I, or as you aptly know it, the AVCTLD1. The Hornets will be playing teams like Derby, Mays South, Hutchinson, and others, which sets up a very tough test for a Valley Center team, replacing skilled positions from last year. Regardless of who is standing in front of them, the players know it's going to be up to them to reach the goals they set for the season. We've got our veterans, our returners are on the offensive front, which is going to be very helpful for us as far as establishing a new quarterback and running back, Hornets head coach Scott Leura said. On the defensive side, we've got quite a few all-league returners. That's where we return most of the experienced guys that we have. They have done what we've asked them to do the last 4 years, and they're ready to go play ball. We're going to play some of the best competition in the state, and I think if there's a time for Valley Center to do it, now is the time. We've got a competitive roster. We've got some talent, and if there was ever a time for us to head up, this is the year. Valley Center's players all believe they're up to the task. A lot of positivity. Hornet safety Steel Showmaker said, no matter who we play, who's playing, no matter who we're going against, nothing. I mean, they're the same age as us. So just keeping that mindset. I think we're up to the challenge. I think we're just ready. Valley Center's left guard, Jeff Stockwell, said, I think any group that would be able to do it, it is this group. I think we have a lot of talent around us, and guys are willing to put the work in and wanting to have the extra competition. Show up every day, Hornets quarterback Connor Meyer said. Some of them did in the summer, but show up every day and just give it your all out here practice. You only got so many of them. Like yesterday was the last practice for me. But it's got to make every one of them count and just go out there and get it. So that's a look at Valley Center and what their expectations are. I tell you what I am going to do right here. And if it seems like this is a lengthy podcast, well, I want to make sure some of my high school teams in the surrounding areas get some love, because I'm also going to look at some of the teams here within the area as well as I get ready to take this break. Stay seated because the train ride is still in motion. It is the state's #1 podcast. Your host and conductor, Anthony Smith, will be right back, so don't you dare go nowhere.
Max Market, formerly known as P&P, is fully stocked for all your grocery needs. We carry the largest selection of hot links in Wichita, including the world-famous Oklahoma links from Mountain View and Rogers, Kansas links from Yoder, Colorado links from Gold Star, as well as national brands such as Siegel and Dietz. Our meat department stocks ribs, pork butts, pork chops, brisket, hams, chicken, hamburger meat, oxtails, buffalo fish, whole catfish and fillets, and much more. In season, we stock hard-to-find produce such as red, yellow, orange, and purple meat, watermelon, cantaloupe, melons, tomatoes, corn, greens, okra, and more. We have a huge selection of fish fry, seasonings, sauces, and rubs, including the full lines of Louisiana and Slap Ya Mama products. In addition, we have all grocery staples including flour, sugar, bread, butter, cheese, snacks, milk, canned goods, candy, snacks, and drinks.
Chipped, cracked, or completely broken, does your vehicle need the Glass Man?
Hey, Glass Man!
Whether it's from recent hailstorms, a rock from the road, vandalism, whatever has you looking through a chip or crack, call the Glass Man.
Hey, Glass Man!
The Glass Man will fix your vehicle's glass the right way with certified technicians that'll make sure your replacement glass is calibrated with all its original safety features.
Hey, Glass Man!
Bring your vehicle to the Glass Man just west of West Street on Central, or get it fixed by their mobile unit, 316-669-GLASS, or at heyglassman.com.
Welcome back to the A-Train Sports Talk podcast on what I call the first week college football. Regardless of what they're saying, all this week zero. You tell that to the team that's going to suffer their first loss of the season, that this was week zero. And I bet they would beg to differ and say, no, it wasn't nothing week zero about this. This was for real. Remember this, in college football, there is no preseason. As soon as you step on that field and you're in front of lights, camera, action, and a live audience, it's real. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, I'm going against the grain. I'm not being politically correct. As far as I'm concerned, this is week number 1. Because the games count. Until they put in there and say, oh, this is just an exhibition game. No, this is week 1. The games count. The games are real. Think about it. Florida State and Georgia Tech and all the tons of equipment that they shipped over to Ireland, when they come back to the States and they feet touch United States of America soil, one team is going to look at their record with a loss, and another team is going to look at their record and say, yeah, we won. These games counted. This was week number 1 for us. So, you can agree with me or disagree with me. I am not going to get bent out of shape because you disagree with me. But I'm pretty sure there are some who are also going to agree with me on this very tape. that as far as they're concerned, this is week one. I spoke with some guys at the gym, and they understood where I was coming from with that tape. Because I mean, think about it. To me, it just doesn't make no sense. Week 0. Week 0. What is that? Looking at some more high school stuff, and there are some players of interest that you want to keep your eye on this football season, as we're going to look at some of the Kansas high school football recruits. This was the article that was back on August the 25th. Some of you might have ran across this. It's from the high school on SI. And there are some players across the state of Kansas that are getting some looks. So what we're going to do is look at some of the top players according to this list. Now, I want to put it out there. According to this list. This is not mine. I'm just reading this off the list. Of course, I'm not doing anything any differently than what your national talk radio host does. Some of your local radio. It's all about the content that we get. So, we're going to take a look at players like Andrew Balboa and Lincoln Cure and some other top 2025 football recruits in the state of Kansas. And I'm pretty sure as the season goes on, there are going to be some other players make a name and put their names up in this list as well, too. But before Barry Sanders was one of the best running backs in NFL history, he was just a boy with a dream, growing up in Wichita, Kansas. And with the start of the 2024 Kansas high school football season less than a month away, now is a good time to point out some key players to watch this year who might be the next NFL stars to hail from the Sunflower State. So here's a look at the top 10 recruits in Kansas' class 2025 in order of their state ranking. Number 1 is Andrew Balboa, offensive tackle. High school, Blue Valley Northwest, height 6'6", weight 280 pounds, 24/7 sports rating 5-star. National ranking 15, position ranking number 3. Right now, his college, he's uncommitted. So, between Kansas and Kansas State, y'all better do y'all's due diligence. Y'all better jump on this. Y'all let a talent like this get out of the state. Y'all know y'all are going to need that offensive line help. So you better go after it. Number 2, Lincoln Cure, tight end from Goodland High School. 6'6", 220 pounds. Also, his 24/7 sports rating is 5-star. National ranking 26, position ranking number 2. College, he is committed to Kansas State. So Kansas State look like they're getting him a good one. Dawson Merritt, linebacker, high school, Blue Valley. Height 6'3", weight 215 pounds, 24/7 sports rating 4-star. National ranking 63, position ranking number 6. Ooh, this one got away. Committed to Alabama. Number 4, just up the road here, and I plan on going to check this young man out as well too. Desan Brame, tight end. Y'all have heard some about him. He's recently flipped his commitment. Anyway, high school, Derby. Height 6'6", weight 235 pounds, 24/7 sports rating 4-star. National ranking 102, position ranking 5. College, he is committed to Tennessee. Another one getting away from the state. Number 5, Jaden Woods, edge. height 6'3", weight 240 pounds. 24/7 Sports ranking 4-star. National ranking 171. Position ranking 19. College committed to Penn State. Number 6, Juju Marks, offensive tackle, high school, Olathe South. Height 6'6", weight 260 pounds. 24/7 Sports rating 3-star. National ranking NA. Position ranking 34. College, he's going to be a rock chalk Jayhawk. Number 7, Brock Heath, interior offensive line. High school, Blue Valley Northwest. Height 6'4.5", weight 260 pounds. 3-star athlete. Nothing on his national ranking. Position ranking 30th. He's committed to Kansas State. Number 8, Brandon Wilson, safety. High school, Shawnee Mission West. Height 6 foot. Weight 180 pounds. 24/7 Sports rating 3-star. Nothing on his national ranking. Position ranking 85th. College, he's uncommitted. So right there, Kansas State, y'all have one that's uncommitted. Make your pitch. Number 9, Martell Jackson, cornerback. Another player from Derby High School. Height 6'2", weight 175 pounds. 3-star. There is nothing on his national ranking. His position ranking is 97, and he is committed to Kansas State. And number 10, Keaton Jones, interior offensive lineman. High school, Field Kinley. Height 6'4", weight 315 pounds. He's a 3-star athlete. Has no national ranking. Position ranking 78, and he is going across state line to the Show Me State, and he's going to be putting on the pads and uniforms for the Missouri Tigers. So, once again, that was courtesy of High School on SI, where I got that information. So, I hope you have enjoyed that good content right there as well. Can't you just feel it in the air, the excitement of high school, college football in your area, wherever it may be? I mean, football is upon us, and I can't wait. Matter of fact, I'm going to watch some games today. I don't know which games. I don't have no set agenda of which games to watch, but I am going to watch some games and get my football fix on. I just couldn't get into the NFL preseason for some particular reason, and I'm probably not alone in that. So don't y'all hold that against me. Here's another piece of news I want to look at right here. I want to give my local brethren here some time, because there's actually been some coaches I've been targeting since a year ago, and I am still going to effort getting this young man on here. But there is a particular school that is looking to make another run after the breakout season that they had last year. And if you're wondering who that school is, that school would be East High School. And I am trying to, there we go. After an 0-2 start to the 2023 season, Wichita East didn't lose another game until the third round of the Class 6A playoffs. Yes, you heard that right. The Blue Aces graduated many of their stars, but expect another deep run. Players like Deontay Mitchell aren't on the field for East, But among what they do have is returning the Greater Wichita Athletic League Coach of the Year. Really, I don't take a lot of self-praise. It's really about the kids, and that's what I do it for. Wichita East head coach Nate Ackpan said, like I said, I plan on getting that young man on my show. We've been working at it, so eventually it's going to happen. Even without, okay, here we go. We just lost our feed there, so let's pull that back up. There we go. Here we go. He says, even without the strong senior class from last year, this group of Blue Aces will bring tons of speed onto the field on Friday nights as they're ready to show that Wichita East is still a legit contender in the state's biggest class. You know, we've got the city on our back this year because of the statement the seniors made last year. So you know we've got to come in with that chip on our shoulder and do better than last year, honestly, said East wide receiver Carlin Ransom. Those seniors left a mark, and we've got to leave a bigger mark this year. And the Blue Aces don't have any time, don't waste any time getting right into the G-Wall play, because in week 1, they take on the Heights Falcons. And I want to say to the brothers out there coaching them, do y'all's thing. Coach Ackpen, Coach Dingle, you guys do a great job molding these young men into better, not just athletes, but also good citizens beyond the field. So I want to commend those two brothers out there. Yes, Coach Ackpen and Coach Dingle. Good luck to the both of y'all. Hopefully get both of y'all on my show. Coach Ackpen, you're going to be getting a call or a text from me soon because I got to get you on ahead of the big game that y'all have against Heights. But, yes, good luck to the both of y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing, coaching these men, not just on the field, but also coaching them off the field as well, too. Looking at another story, because the one thing I noticed with this East High team last year, and I'm pretty sure that Heights is probably one of their rivals, but it just appears that their biggest rival, to me, last year, they broke ground in making Northwest their rival. I've talked to some people in and out of the game, and I don't know what it was, but it was something about both those games. Those games had a little bit of edge to them as opposed to any other games that they played. It was something about East and Northwest. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for both programs. I've had Coach Martin on my show. Like I said, I hope to get Coach Ackpen on because we've had chats back and forth. We just haven't been able to really connect the dots. But I am one of the ones, and if it means that there are some things that we can't mention on a podcast because we don't want to be bulletin board material or some personal things, that I will not air. But I want to know, what is it about this Wichita East versus Wichita Northwest that a rivalry was actually birthed in those two games last year? Like I said, I have nothing but the utmost respect for both programs. Like I said, I've had Coach Steve Martin on my show. He's been a great guest. As a matter of fact, even when I asked him last year about what went on, he said, let's just say the game was kind of chippy. He said, that's all I can say. But it was those two games that, even though you may have had your seat, all you really needed was the edge. I know I've taken that from another venue, that saying right there, but that's how those games played out. And I'm pretty sure the coaches will tell you that everything that was done on the field was left out there on the field of play. It was one of those games where both teams deserved to win, but unfortunately, one team had to be a loser. And I'm pretty sure Northwest is licking their wounds as they went into hibernation mode after the season to think over what it is we need to do to get back on top of the league. So right now, going into this season, yes, Wichita East is your defending G-Wall champions. They still have that chip on their shoulder. And I'm pretty sure they want to also defend their championship. So I look forward to the East versus Heights game. But I also want to look at a team that is transitioning, and I'm also going to look at Wichita Northwest High School as we get ready to wrap things up here. As Wichita Northwest is basically looking to reload as they push for another deep run. So let's take a look at Wichita Northwest. Like I said, this will probably be a lengthy podcast, but it'd be well worth it. Northwest is reloading as the Grizzlies push for another deep run. Wichita Northwest, a perennial power in the Greater Wichita Athletic League in Class 6A, has big names in big positions to replace. But the Grizzlies have as much high-end talent as anybody in the state. The 2024 season is one in which Northwest has been growing toward for 2 years. Some of these guys that are juniors right now have been starting since they were freshmen. Northwest head coach Steve Martin said, and I remember having that conversation with him because he was talking about how young his team was. This is a group that's growing up. We've had growing pains the last couple of years. The Grizzlies hope that their top-end talent brings them to where they want to be. We've got a lot of weapons. Attitudes always been high. Everybody comes to work ready, Martin said. An offense that traditionally pounds the rock will rely on junior quarterback Jalen Mason, who holds offers from the likes of KU and Iowa State. We can run the ball, throw the ball, quick pass. We can do anything, Mason said. The defense brings back junior John Michael Fountain, one of the state's top recruits, to fuel a Grizzly team that's hungry for another deep run. Now, y'all heard me read that top 10 list, and they're talking about junior John Michael Fountain. I wonder if he's going to be on that top 10 list next year. It says, I feel like we're more explosive than last year, honestly. Our unit can really be something, said Northwest junior linebacker Jamari Bland. Less emotions, more sticking, doing and planning to do what we do here at Northwest. In a talent-rich G-Wall, it's not often that we see a Northwest team overlooked. Martin's message to his boys at the end of day one is to focus on themselves, not the outside noise. A brutal schedule that the Grizzlies have every year begins this season with a week 1 trip down the street to Bishop Carroll. I know everybody's looking forward to that game. It's like that's the opening game of the season, and everybody looks forward to the hype, the hoopla, the battle for supremacy on the west side, the battle for Tyler Road, whatever you want to call it. But that game usually is also a packed house. So, once again, good luck to Northwest as they get ready to start their season. Coming up here shortly. Next thing I'm going to look at, and I'm going to bring things to a close here, is there is one team that is actually transitioning from one classification to another classification. No, they're not going up in classification. They're actually going down in classification. I think the goal is, has, and always will be to bring a state trophy back to this storied program. What program am I talking about? The one that is coached by a legend who's walking in the hall amongst legends. And that's none other than Cape and Mount Carmel and Western Sharks. A man who I had the honor of being in his presence when he was at West High, building that program and doing equally what he did at West High to what Bill Snyder did at Kansas State. So after finishing second in Class 5A last season, Cape and Mount Carmel's football team moves to 4A this year. And with the new classification comes a new look Crusaders team, at least on offense. Standout running back Amari Elias graduated, as did Will Thingvall and Nathan Thingvall. Less than 10% of the offense returns from 2023. The defense returns far more, including Oklahoma State commit Kyle Kia, an outside linebacker. There are a lot of changes for Coach Weston Sharp's squad, but Capon isn't backing down from the challenge. A lot of guys starting this year got a lot of action last year because we were able to get them in there when they were ahead, Sharp said. We're just looking for guys to step up. We have people in different positions who show up and work hard, two-way player Jackson Daniel said. Our whole class has been dedicated since we were freshmen. Capon opens at home on September the 6th against those Trojans from Andover. And I'm actually going to close it out since I've had some of their players on my podcast here. I am going to take a look at Chennedy. Yes, Chennedy Carter, the 3A state champions, defending champions. Because Chennedy is looking to defend their first ever state title after a dream season last year. And definitely it was a dream season. I think they're looking to show that last year's dream season wasn't no fluke season. In 2023, Chennedy did the impossible. After snapping Andel's longest winning streak in the nation, they went on to top the Indians again and win their first ever state championship. 1 year after their 13-0 perfect season, they were without their star wide receiver, Jackson Bolt, Kansas State, but still bring back a core of seniors, including quarterback Josh Burdick, a young man I actually had on my podcast, with a confidence that they've never felt heading into a season as they look to go back-to-back. They're wanting to repeat, and they have that in their sights, Cheney head coach Shelby Werman said. I think it's possible, but a lot of things had to go well last year. That's going to have to be the same this year. We have some tough competition. Burdick said the perfect season in 2023 didn't come by accident, and the Cardinals are coming into the 2024 season with the same hard-working mentality. You've always got to have that belief in yourself, Burdick said. It doesn't come. You just hope. You have to work for it. You can't just hope. You have to work for it. That's just what we've been trying to do. Cheney opens the 2024 season against another 3A power in the Holcomb Longhorns on September the 6th. So, that right there will be where I go ahead and bring this train into the station. Like I said, this was a very lengthy podcast, but it's well worth it because I want to give the high schools around here in the state of Kansas some love. And we're going to look at some more Lord's willing next week. All right here on the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast. Once again, special thanks to my guest, Ronnie DeGray. That does not get old right there. My dad always taught me, he said, people, when they're nice, they don't have to be nice to you. So when they are nice to you, the least you can do is show them some gratitude. Once again, thank you to Ronnie DeGray. Well, that is going to do it for me. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'm going to try to enjoy me some college football on what I call week 1 of the college football season. Not week 0, week 1. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. Have a blessed weekend. I'm out.
There's somebody that has